right 281, helm I, con, helm, steady course.
G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to Cold Waters with Mags, and welcome back aboard the Los Angeles class 688 attack submarine. So after 53 hours in port, screwing our hull together after our last mission, we are back at it, and we've been issued a mission to intercept a Soviet cruise missile submarine and its escort. Unfortunately, en route to the target, we have been intercepted by an anti-submarine warfare patrol. Now, at this point, I've managed to get a glimpse of one of the ships and managed to identify it, but we've managed to lose them. There's actually a storm on the surface at the moment. It's making a lot of noise in the water. Now, while we haven't managed to keep track of them using passive, the enemy can't track us either, so they're pinging actively to try and find us at the moment. And I'm actually using their own active sonar against them to work out where they are. Now, there's definitely 3 ships in the water, there's 3 active pings running, and they all seem to be moving north. So what I'm going to do, I can't find this Mk.II. It's the ship that I've managed to identify at this point. There is pings active, but I can't hear it. So I think what I'm going to do, just sitting above the thermal layer at the moment so I can actually hear. As you can see, we've got 117 decibels ambient noise in the water. I think what I'm going to have to do is turn north so I can bring my towed sonar array. It's directly north, that would be better. Bring my towed sonar array into alignment so it can actually hear the targets better. Let's use a small burst of time acceleration, and hello? Alright, we need to change course. Looks like the Mk.II has actually slipped in behind us, and at that range, if that range is accurate, she'll be able to hear us. Or at the least she'll have a perfect detection on us with passive sonar. There we go, we've got it back. S1 Mk.II, she's closer than 11.5 kiloyards if we're seeing her there. 15 knots. Reading 11.2. 45% solution. Alright. Now, I'm not going to activate active sonar on the torpedoes, they're just going to fire passive. Just waiting for a contact update at this point. So, 62, yeah, she's a hell of a lot closer. 2.2 kiloyards according to this. Down to 59% solution at this point. But the towed sonar array is in alignment at this point. There's 73, 2 kiloyards, 15 knots speed, and closing. So I'm going to put myself below the thermal layer at this point. Try and get into the shadow zone to shield myself, 89%. 1.8 kiloyards. If we can get into the shadow zone, we might be able to hide from our active sonar. And more than that, hopefully the thermal layer will actually hide our transient, although at this range, yeah, she's too close. We're gonna have to fire. Short activation. Tube 1 away. Waiting for the counterfire at this point. Torpedo acquired, and at this point it's just cleared the thermal layer. As soon as it cleared the thermal layer, we have a return. Yeah, no, we're cavitating, that's fine. I need to close range on this torpedo as quickly as possible so it crosses over my bow before it activates. Second torpedo in the water. Impact. Sierra 1 has been eliminated, and we're safe from the first torpedo. Just got to get underneath the detection cone of the second one, so if they go active, they won't be able to see us. And that should be good. Alright, so when those torpedoes go active now, they won't find us. Beautiful. Well, that was a sneaky Gresher. I wasn't expecting that to get as close as it did. But we did also just cavitate in the water. We have 2 other Soviet ships, both anti-submarine warfare ships, currently searching for us. They're pinging on active sonar. We just cavitated and we just sunk one of their ships, so there's no hiding the fact that we're here at this point. I just need a better fix on exactly where our targets are. And that was one of the torpedoes going active, and both torpedoes will now be active. So we're going to get double pings from active sonar, but the torpedoes are heading away from us, so we don't need to worry about it. Right, so we're getting one active ping to the west, and there is definitely one active ping from the north.
301 Helm I.
For those that are not familiar, when you see it on the map, the yellow pings are active sonar from ships or submarines that are actively searching for us. Red pings that will show up every now and again, the red lines leading to our submarine, is the active sonar from a torpedo. So we're hearing the active sonar ping on the torpedoes, but the search cone is pointing in the other direction. So while it is hitting us, the torpedoes aren't getting a return. Noisy wreck. That one's taking an awfully long time to sink there. Anyways, at this point, we're down at around 400 feet.
Come right to 311.
I'm going to take us in between these 2 sonar pings and see whether or not we can actually get a fix on either of these. Now, I'm going to increase speed to 15 knots here. We're obviously not at silent running speeds, but with the ambient noise that's already in the water at 117 decibels, we should be able to do 15 knots, close on targets, and still have them not hear us until we are within probably 2 to 3 kiloyards, and by that point we should already have heard them. This will allow us to close range a little bit faster. Because I believe we only do about 106 decibel at standard for the Los Angeles class. So we've got a little bit of playroom in regards to noise in the water at this point. The storm and the ambient noise in the water should still be louder than us. And that does sound like an aircraft in the background there somewhere. We are close enough to the Soviet Union at the moment to actually get torpedo bombers. But I'm not hearing any torpedo impacts or transients at this point. Wait. Flashy beacon just to our rear. God, I wish I'd noticed that sooner. That's a sonar buoy. So we've had a sonar buoy drop nearly on top of that wreck. Just thinking about it, that's actually really, really bad positioning for a sonar buoy. The buoy itself picks up just passive noise in the water. The water itself is very loud, but that buoy is also very close to that Gresher 3, which as you can hear is creaking and making a horrible racket. And the sound propagation is actually done very well in cold waters. So chances are that sonar buoy is not going to be able to hear us anyway. So I'll maintain 10 knots away. If we get another sonar buoy dropped on top of us, that will let us know that they can actually hear us, but I don't think they'll actually be able to. Now at this point, I'm just bringing myself up to the thermal layer. I'm just going to poke myself slightly above it. Unfortunately, we're not hearing anything from below the thermal layer, so if I can get up into the surface duct and actually have a bit of a listen, we might be able to get a fix on at least one of the ships.
Come right
We'll
to
shift our course,
8 Helm I.
because one of our target to the west, is continuing to move north. And this sits us just above the thermal layer to have a listen, so we'll be able to have the towed sonar array having a listen for us. We'll be able to listen on our own passive sensors, and if we do detect something, we can dip immediately back below the thermal layer and into the shadow zone. And we've got absolutely nothing so far. No detection at all. Now I'm assuming these ships aren't all that far off, but we're just not hearing them. What I might do is actually flick to active sonar and send out a couple of pings and see whether or not we can find it, because we're not exactly hiding ourselves here. They know we're here. Contact S2. And that bomber's coming in close, torpedo in the water. Alright, so the bomber heard us. The ping was enough to set off the beacon, but that's alright, we can deal with this. Ballast down 25. Come on. And under. Get ourselves down deep. May not have been such a great idea, but I thought it was worth a shot to actually find the targets, otherwise we could be listening for an awfully long time here. I will admit the bomber response time is just a little bit too fast, I think. Alright, it's coming around behind us and it's reacquired. Push it up to 33 knots. Yep, doesn't matter that we're cavitating, it's fine. I don't have a MOS loaded. I probably should have loaded one of those. Hard turn and dive.
Passing 500 feet.
Alright.
Make turns for 1, 5.
Nothing too complex in the way of evasion there.
Longer cavitating.
Alright, now let's go for the surface.
Maneuvering, making turns for 2, 0.
Passing 500 feet.
And
Passing 400
target S3 is closing on us at the moment. Very close.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Yeah, sonar contact 2 is still pinging and she's pretty much directly on top of us at this point. Torpedo is still tracking. Alright, now the decoy will throw it off for a second. Or maybe it won't. Maybe it's just going to completely ignore the decoy.
Con sonar,
But it missed, so that's fine.
make turns for
Alright, we want to bring ourselves around. We have
we are cavitating.
95% solution on Sierra 2, Gresha 3.
Cavitating.
Passing 300 feet.
And we're actually in a really good spot here because as she's passed by us to try and find us,
Passing 400 feet.
she's actually let us get into her baffles. All this going on behind her and she won't actually be able to hear it.
Passing
And it looks like
500
the
feet.
torpedo was fooled by the decoy and it's in a wide sweep.
Sierra 2, last bearing 126.
Alright, we've lost Sierra 2, that's alright. And torpedo detonation, so it lost track of us and self-destructed. Now let's sneak back to the surface and see whether or not we can re-find Sierra 2.
Passing 500 feet.
Once we poke up above the thermal layer, we should pick her up straight away. She's at close range, and we are behind her, so we should have a really good angle on our engines. And tube 1 is ready to fire.
Contact on Sierra.
Yet contact regained at 41%. 2.9 kiluyards currently. She's nearly at the beacon. I'm not sure if they're programmed for the behavior, but it almost looks like she's going over to try and rescue the crew from Sierra 1. Sierra 1's wreck's still on the surface from the looks of it, which is really odd. Normally they sink. 67% solution. I could fire now, but I'd rather wait for just a moment.
Passing 200 feet.
And we've leveled out just above the thermal layer at this point. Once again, so we can fire the shot and dive if necessary. Tube 2. Update on target to 88%. 2.9 kiluyards. Torpedo tube 2 is clear. Fish underway. And she's not reacting. She didn't hear the transient. She is deaf as a post at the moment. She's not making any reaction at all. Oh wait, no, she's starting to turn. She is turning. And it looks like she's gone up to flank, 16 knots. So she did react, but just way too late.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 2. Last bearing 095. Contact breaking up.
Sierra 2 eliminated, and there was a counter torpedo fired. I missed that. It was fired in completely the wrong direction, and it was fired with too long an arming time, so it's not even close to my location. And was at no risk of ever actually detecting me, but it was fired. So let's drop down to 250 and get below the thermal layer. We know where our third target is because it's still actively pinging. It's the target to the north. Once we're below the thermal layer, we'll crank up the engines and start seeing whether or not we can track this one down. Should probably break it down to 350, that way I can run 20 knots without cavitating. Coffee. Alright. She's not staying on the surface. Sierra 2 is going under. I would like them to add more debris when a ship goes down. Once again, we'll get ourselves above this thermal layer and see whether or not we can actually hear this damn ship.
Con sonar new contact bearing.
Oh, hello.
50 designated Sierra 3.
Hello, Sierra 3. What are you? Signatures, and let's open up the book here. Put ourselves to the start. No. It's a Cashin. That is definitely a Cashin. Yep. Let's lock that one in.
Con sonar Sierra 3 is classified as escort.
1.6 kiluyards and signature 11 on active, 13 on active. They can definitely hear us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ping them back with active sonar as well.
Switching to active search.
That should get me straight to 95% solution. Fire tube 1. There's no point in trying to hide a submarine that's already been heard. Adjust the course of that torpedo so it picks up nice and quickly.
Con, fire control
Yep, I know we're cavitating. We're going to accelerate and try and cut through just in case. Yep, we've already got a torpedo in the water. We've lost the wire on our Mk.II, however.
Passing 200 feet.
2 torpedoes. Oh, actually, this is a problem. The 2 torps the Keshin has fired are going to go straight over the top of us before they arm. They're too close. But our Mk.II is active. We do not have wire control. And it's going into a turn because it's missed the Keshin. There's no way known. Yep, there it is. The Mk.II's detected us. Alright, get some speed and get underneath it for a start. The Mk.II's are obviously a significantly better torpedo than what the Soviets normally fire at us.
Passing 500 feet on knuckle forms.
Keshin is right there.
Passing 500 feet.
There's no point in trying to hide ourselves and stop cavitating at this point. The torpedo will be able to hear us anyway. But if I can get it to turn in towards the Keshin and then break contact and go silent and pull out of its detection cone, it should reacquire the Keshin and take a second pass at it.
Passing 200 feet.
Fire control.
Come on, 48, come with me.
Con knuckle forms.
Alright, the knuckle distracted it.
Make turns 159. Maneuvering on. Con sonar no longer cavitating.
Passing 300.
And it's reacquired us.
Make turns 3. Con sonar, we are cavitating.
And once again, push the speed back up.
Passing 500 feet.
We should be able to get underneath it here.
Con sonar lost. Con sonar no longer cavitating.
Passing 600 feet. Passing 600 feet.
Alright, now we're going to get up and over it as it comes back around.
Passing 500 feet. Con knuckle forms.
Alright, we should be out of its detection cone at this point.
Feet.
And
Passing ring shift for ultra quiet.
Con sonar no
let's
longer
go
cavitating.
silent and see what it sees. The torpedo is turning. It has acquired. It's reacquired the Keshin.
Gained contact on
I think.
03, bearing 13.
Yes, it's definitely heading in the direction of the sonar ping, so it's reacquired the Keshin. So we've managed to slingshot it back at the Keshin after it missed the first pass. And if we just sit quietly... sorry, the Krivak, not the Keshin. Not today. Thank you very much for playing.
Con maneuvering, making turns for 5.
Okay, so that is the Krivak out of the picture. So 2 Grisha 3s and a Krivak for an anti-submarine patrol. That is not a bad set of kills, but we already know this is not our mission objective. So at this point I need to exit out of the area and continue en route to the intercept point and see whether or not we can catch this Soviet cruise missile submarine and her escort, whatever that escort actually will be. Anyways, ladies and gents, hope you enjoyed the video and thank you very much for watching. As always, remember to check the video description down below for links to my social media and links to my Twitch. And as always, remember to give this video a like if you did, subscribe and share if you would like to see more. And until next time, dive smart, dive safe, and I'll catch you in the depths.